Schneider-Rainbow, who's produced numerous fantastic machinima over the past year. Both Carol and I have been working together over the last month and produced machinima together. And maybe you'd like to say a few words about yourself, Carol?
Well, not really, but hello everybody, great to be here, great to see you all. I'm a teacher in the UK and currently teaching only in Second Life, only teaching English for a company called Language Lab and Learn It Town, so teaching English in Second Life, and having got very interested in machinima from learning from Barbara, who's here as well, who ran the Machinima course earlier this year, which is where I learned most of what we are now going to share with you, actually. So lovely to see you. You're very welcome, and I hope you enjoy the session.
Okay, thank you, Carol. I'm Crystal Schneider in real life and Letty Pinar in Second Life. And until last October, I worked as a director for the ICC, the International Language Association, and now I'm the managing director of CSI Train, an organization newly established, providing teacher training and language courses online, and also partly in Second Life. So that's, you know, for me in short. In this workshop, we'd like to give you a general overview about our experience with creating machinima, and give you some insight into our work and films created, and would then like you to create your own little machinima. As you can see, we have already set up 2 scenarios we are going to use for this later during the workshop. Now, I know of a few people, but I would like to know, has anyone already got experience with creating machinima? And could I ask those of you who already have experienced with creating machinima to move to the bus stop area, and those who haven't, to the air terminal area? Yeah, very good. I mean, that's very good for later work then. And has everybody had the opportunity to download Camtasia Studio for the session? I would like you to move again and walk over to the bus stop or stay there if you have downloaded the software or if you've got the software. Can you give the link to the first video, Carol?
Certainly can, yes.
Well, this is a link Carol has just given to you, and we would like you to watch this video. It's not very long, it's 90 seconds, so you should be able to do that now.
No one is too old to learn something new.
Es ist nie zu spät, etwas Neues zu lernen.
Look, Granny has got a new laptop.
Смотри-ка, у бабушки новый ноутбук. Ее интересует Second Life.
What's this new computer? It looks very exciting. I'd love to try.
Yes, it is very exciting, you know. I can show you to go to places and go through Second Life, and I can show you how to fly and all that.
But you know how I am. I'm a bit unsteady these days. I can't walk far.
Well, you don't have to walk. We can fly through the computer and Second Life. I can show you, take you to wonderful places, and you don't have to walk at all. We can meet other people and talk to them, you know?
That sounds wonderful.
I mean, your French is a bit rusty, but we can go to Paris and you meet people there in the streets and you can talk to, and they are all very friendly, you know?
That'll be exciting.
Would you like that, darling?
I would love that. I will give it a try.
Cool. Yeah, so
Et ole
let's go.
koskaan liian vanha oppimaan jotain uutta.
Have watched the film, we thought it was the best way to explain what machinima is. Actually, sorry. And this specific machinima has only recently won an award the TechSoup competition for the best video in virtual worlds, and I think this short video captures some basic ideas of Machinima and work in virtual worlds. It was produced to encourage people to get involved in or started with Second Life, either for language learning or just for fun. And this Machinima is addressed to older people or those who are physically impaired or who cannot go to places and are bound to stay in their home and who could benefit from visiting virtual worlds. In virtual worlds, your avatar does not show, unless you wish to, so age or impairments. So, what is Machinima? It is a technique for making videos or films from 3D virtual spaces using screen capture programs, as most of you know here, and in Machinima, the virtual world, its inhabitants, and all their actions in it are captured on film. Machinima allow people to document their activities and experiences in virtual worlds. As I just was trying to say that, I find Machinima a very powerful tool in giving students the opportunity to keep evidence of their creations or activities in a role play or in and provide food for thought and discussion afterwards. Creating their own scenarios also encourages students to practice reporting back from places of virtual worlds visited and analyzing their presentation skills when recording their performance. Machinima are also powerful for creative narratives or interviews, which could also be real-life footage, such as Skype and recordings on mobile devices. A good example for this can be seen in my first Machinima I ever created, Why Second Life. It combines real-life footage, an interview with Gerhilde Meisel-Eckert, and then interviews and discussions in-world, as well as teaching scenarios. Let's just watch the first part where Gerhilde talks about her experiences and the first minute of in-world filming. So please don't watch the whole film, it's too long, you can watch it later.
In this Machinima, we would like to demonstrate how 3D environments can enhance teaching and learning. Let's listen to the experts. Gerhilde, the floor is yours.
My Second Life experience is now about 7 years ago, and we started with setting up language courses because my personal experience that made me become a believer in this kind of environment was that Klaus, who is my partner in the company to set up, took me to Paris, to a great island, Paris, in the 1900s. And there I met some very, very nice French guys and started talking to them. And then I realized that when I learned French at school, I had to go to real Paris to get a chance to talk to real French people. And now that's no more possible. So for me, the question was, why is this kind of environment not standard in each classroom and in each language course? And so we just started to try out what can be done with this environment. And obviously, the biggest advantage is that you can meet real people there. If you learn a language, you can meet native speakers of this language, you can meet other learners. It's obviously a great environment for distance learning because you get all your students together in one place, but you can also meet other people. In our courses, for example, we often invite experts of a special domain.
Here we had invited the filmmakers of My Avatar and me and discussed filming with them. After Gerhilde had spoken so fondly about Paris, I took a look around myself. Oops, and I had to be careful not to bump into things. And then I decided to take a ride, and that was really, really great.
Yeah, and if you would like, you can, follow this film later. Both Carol and I have only started recently in February 2013 to be precise, with producing Machinima. At that time, I didn't have a clue about filming or how to produce Machinima at all, and the films produced are not perfect, but the question is, what are they supposed to be made for and what are they used for? I discovered when facilitating and filming role plays, students enjoyed watching them afterwards. They usually are very proud about their performance. And one of the main things is that they seem to be less inhibited in virtual worlds to produce something in the target language. It's not them who makes the mistake, it's their avatar. And the good thing is that they can monitor their avatar's progress. Now let me show you an example how error correction or feedback can be integrated when editing films. The one I'm going to show is a discussion about the weather, very short, and I'm sure you'll be able to follow it. So the steps are as follows. First, step one, students receive a note card with a scenario and different roles and familiarize themselves with their roles. They can either learn their roles by heart or read the text out loud. The second step is that the students perform and the performance is recorded. And then the third step is that the recording is edited. I usually post the dialogues and speech bubbles afterwards, and as you can see in the short video, added some explanation about the words that were not known and correction about intonation at the end of the film. Could you give us the link, please, Carol? Or you have already done so, right? So it's a very short film, and I'd like you to have a look. It's in German, and your chance to learn German. I know Hazel will be delighted. So off you go. Thank you.
Guten Morgen. Schöne Tag heute, nicht?
Ja, echt super, aber ziemlich heiß.
Tim, ich mag es gern so Eis.
Ah, Sie Glückpilz dürfen den ganzen Tag draußen arbeiten. Ich möchte tagsüber in heißen, stickigen Seminarräumen verbringen. Oh, ich muss mich sputen. Einen schönen Tag noch.
Der Gärtner sagt, stimmt, ich mag es gern so heiß. Die Betonung liegt auf gern. Als Glückspilz wird eine Person bezeichnet, die Glück hat. In Anlehnung an den Fliegenpilz, den roten mit den weißen Punkten, der Glück bedeutet. Ein stickiger Raum ist ein Raum mit schlechter, verbrauchter Luft. Sich sputen bedeutet sich beeilen. Das Wort ist vielleicht ein bisschen veraltet, aber in einigen Regionen Deutschlands wird es noch sehr häufig benutzt, so wie auch im Norden Deutschlands.
So far, we were talking about Camtasia software, and the Camtasia software also allows to integrate quizzes with instant feedback. Let's just show how that works, show you the start of another video, an introduction to encourage learners of German to learn in Second Life, where I integrated a little quiz. So the quiz is at the very beginning, and just stop and, well, do the quiz or look at the quiz, and you get instant feedback. Okay? So could you put that in the chat window, please, Carol? Thank you.
Letty steht hier in einem wunderschönen Garten. Der Garten gehört Osnakantab, Nesterov. Letty zeigt, was man in Second Life tun kann. Lernen Sie mit Letty einige Verben. Beantworten Sie. Students can either continue or click on the quiz. Now the first question is, which animals can you hear in my garden? And it was duck, and then what do? They quack, and then how many are there, more or one? And what other animals can you hear? And they are frogs. And what do? And then you can receive the answers there and get feedback, and you can do it again or start new or see what your result was.
Okay, the quiz was fairly quick at the beginning, and obviously unexpectedly the questions that were asked about how many, what kind of animals people could hear in the background, and they were ducks or frogs or fish or whatever, So it just is a short demonstration what you could do with the software and with the quizzes. Unfortunately, you can't upload that to YouTube, but you can deliver it to Screencast.com at Camtasia. You have got different ways of getting started with Machinima. You either have your screencast run throughout the meeting, lesson or session, and produce it without editing, or you can film small sequences and then edit those to add them to the whole film. It depends on what the purpose of your Machinima is. As already mentioned, Carol and I have been working on different genres of Machinima for language learning, of which we would like to share a few examples of each genre. So narratives, jokes, riddles, interviews, informative videos, language teaching scenarios, shopping, selling, buying, and so on, idioms, phrasal verbs, and so on. You'll find a good overview of the Rainbow Schneider production on the CSI Train website. They are categorized there, so you'll have a link to that in your note card Carol is going to give you. And there's also a collection of German videos that can be viewed on the German website, and the link is given there as well. Now, it's important, first of all, setting the scene. I mean, it's like the surrounding here. We have already set up 2 scenes here. And here this slide shows a realistic house move scenario ready to be filmed. And you can see all the props, the van, and the suitcases that were needed for this specific scenario. And of course, then the next step is choice and organizing the avatars, the characters. Carol and I used these characters for a funny sketch where 2 old people, here women, met thinking they knew each other and discussing private details to find out in the end that they actually had never met before. Carol, do you think we should just have a look into the beginning, or shall we carry on? It's good to have a little rest here. Goodness me.
Well, I never.
Susan Kelly.
Anne McCowan.
No, actually, my name is Dorothy Jonathan.
Oh, well, I'm Janet Barry, as a matter of fact.
Ah, Janet Barry, of course.
And you're Dorothy Jonathan, of course.
Well, I never.
Goodness me.
Well, how are you then?
I'm fine, fine. How's John?
John?
Yeah, John. Your husband's name is John, isn't it?
No, George, actually.
Oh, yes, George. George Trigwell.
Jonathan.
Jonathan Trigwell.
No, George Jonathan.
George Jonathan, of course. How is he?
He's very well. How's,
Dennis?
Yes, Dennis, your husband. How is he?
He's very well.
Oh, good, good.
But he isn't my husband.
No?
No, I'm not married.
And on. Like that, as I said, in the end, they find out that they have never met in their lives before, but that was a funny thing about it. Now, depending on the roles and avatars required for different scenarios, you choose your avatar accordingly. The little boy on the top, in the top row in the middle, for example, with the bottle of juice and sandwich, we used him as taking part in a circus scene, waiting outside to get into the circus, and then in another row in the circus, jiggling with balls and riding on a wheel or something. So, yeah, you can also animate your avatar so that you can give somebody a piggyback, or you change your avatar according to the place, time, and requirements. The pictures were taken in Paris, and I loved the one with the dog because that was is animated. It's always there, and it pees against the lamppost, which I thought was hilarious. And others were taken on Avalon Island in Berlin in the 20s. We found that learning grammar can be very motivating and enjoyable when shown in a film and then in context. So we started with the phrasal verb get. We found various situations in which the phrasal verb get is used and put these into context. So have a look, just a short look into the first part of the film. It's the phrasal verb get.
How can we use the phrasal verb get? The train has just arrived and people are waiting to get on the train. But before they can get on the train, other passengers are getting off the train. To get on means to have a good relationship. The girls are really getting on well. They are always up to some mischief. Get along also means to have a good relationship. The old couple is getting along fine. Peggy and Jim have a great relationship. It's Monday morning. Sarah is still asleep when suddenly the alarm goes off. Oh no, she hates getting up early after a long and relaxing weekend. Before Sarah gets up, she does her daily exercise and then gets out of bed quickly to get into the bathroom before anyone else gets up. It's going to be a beautiful day. She brushes her teeth, takes a refreshing little bath, and then gets dressed. Her mom has already made coffee for her, so Sarah goes to the kitchen, gets herself a nice cup of coffee, and grabs a sandwich before she gets out of the house.
Here, and by the way, I have transferred most of these films into German as well. I mean, in German we don't have the phrasal verb get in this case, but I used it on a German course in World, and it worked very well because it's just a day of a person, and then it can trigger you know, discussions, or the task would be, what was your day like, and you just start, the students start talking about their days. So I also have come to the conclusion that it is good for students to add the text or some of the text so that they can follow it in writing if they haven't heard it properly or if they couldn't understand properly. Okay, so as you can see there, think about it, there can be a lot of activities to follow. So if there are any questions, can we use these videos in our classes? Yes, please do. Of course, it's that's what they are made for, to help teachers to and students, you know, to practice their English and their skills. Right, so the next one we had great fun with in producing riddles and jokes, and that is actually for children. We created that's Carol and I, created 4 videos with 4 short jokes each. And I mean, I showed them in adult classes, and some adults go, very funny, but many children like that. And I think jokes are a specific area or a specific part. It's not always easy to use in teaching. So, Carol, could you please give the link? Thank you. Yeah, that joke with the airbag was so funny. Thank you to remind me, and even Carol, the joke maker, producer, she didn't laugh about it because she didn't understand what I was talking about. Because that was, well, it's typical for me. I had a suitcase flying in the air, and somebody pointed this out, and I said, what is flying in the air, you know, a bag flying in the air, what is it? An airbag. Yeah, so you all have to laugh. That was the insert for laughter now. Clap, clap, laugh, laugh. Okay, so let's have a look at our 4 little samples. I think you can go through them if you like.
So what's wrong with you?
Hello, I've got this problem. I'm very ill. Why did the computer go to the doctors? It had a virus. Why did the skeleton dance alone? Because it had nobody to dance with.
We love producing narratives, and one I produced is the story of Annabelle who gets friends with a crocodile, but for time reasons we will not look into that. You will find the link on the note card, but let me look instead of that into another little creation, and it's fantastic. I think it's a very special kind of narrative, and that's What is a Circus, produced by Carol. It's very nostalgic too, and the little boy you see, this little Ben you've seen in the picture before, is one of the actors in that too. So Carol, your films.
Roll up, buy your tickets here. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, lads and lasses, step right up. The show's about to begin. The smells of candy floss, ice cream, popcorn and hot dogs fill the evening air. Expectation and suspense encircle the crowd as we take our seats. Begins to play, the lights go down, and the ringmaster enters.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to our little show, the greatest show on Earth.
As I mentioned earlier, the Machinima Why Second Life has triggered a lot of interest. I mean, that belongs to the informative Machinima, as it includes interviews with various people in real life and Second Life, and it also has embedded scenes of learning scenarios like going shopping and buying clothes, and it points out the benefits of learning in virtual worlds. So if you want to get people's interest in why to learn in virtual worlds, this is a good film to show. The films I'm producing more and more now are small clips performed by the learners themselves. So Selling a Hoover was a role play in an English drama course, and student performed really well. It is easier to discuss idiom, structure, grammar, and have activities to follow as soon as you notice where the weaknesses are. Carol and I have been asked to provide some material for facilitators with instructions how to use the Machinima in real-life classroom and what kind of activities can be developed. For the Machinima, the Owl and the Pussycat, Carol, if you put that link in there, Carol has designed a sample what such material could look like, and this is posted on my website again. So just have a little look into the Owl and a Pussycat. It is fantastic, and for this, if you want to use it in your classroom with kids or even with adults, there is teaching material going along with it, so have a look.
Videos there now, and I'm just going to paste the material again.
The Owl and the Pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. They took some money and plenty of honey wrapped up in a £5 note. The Owl looked up to the stars above, and he sang to a small guitar. Oh, lovely pussy, oh pussy, my love, what a beautiful pussy you are,
And now we come to the point where you are hopefully creating your own Machinima. So let's get started with it.